China's BYD is said to be one of Tesla's most competitive automaker peers in the world. In 2021, BYD was ranked fourth in terms of battery electric vehicles on the global playing field, selling over 300,000 EVs and attaining a 7% market share, about one-third of Tesla's 21% worldwide share. A year later, in 2022, the mainstream media believed that BYD would surpass Tesla in terms of EV sales. And BYD indeed sold 1.8 million plug-in cars in 2022, surpassing Tesla's 1.3 million vehicle achievement. However, there's a pretty big catch. BYD's plug-in sales are made up of new energy or electrified vehicles which are not fully battery electric and include plug-in hybrids which still ship with an internal combustion engine and a small battery. Now, people incorrectly believe that almost all of the trips in a plug-in hybrid make use of this small battery, but according to a study by the International Council on Clean Transportation, they show that real-world usage of the combustion engine part of the vehicle was double to triple its expected usage for privately owned cars, and even higher for company cars where fuel costs are typically subsidized by the company but not electricity. In certain geographies where the official NEDC approval rating had stated that the electric motor was used 69% of the time, the ICCT found it in fact to be used just 37% of the time in the real world, drastically undermining the purpose of purchasing and using a plug-in hybrid. BYD's actual electric vehicle sales only made up less than half of their sales at 911,000, still representing a very impressive 184% growth rate. But this is lower than Tesla's 1.3 million fully battery electric unit sales. BYD is actually a diversified conglomerate, selling not just passenger cars, but also buses, trucks, forklifts, skyrails, and battery systems. Among these, the latter may be the most interesting in relation to Tesla. Tesla has a very aggressive goal of scaling its own battery production in order to transition the world to sustainable energy. They're planning to get to 100 gigawatt hours as soon as possible, and Elon Musk is targeting 1,000 gigawatt hours for the company as a whole, which comes after Tesla's recent announcement of expanding their Nevada Gigafactory with a 100 gigawatt hour 4680 cell production line. Elon Musk also hinted that Tesla's subsequent target would be 5,000 gigawatt hours. But surprisingly, that's still not enough. Tesla is working hard with suppliers to also get them on board in order to increase battery production just the same. And Elon Musk has said that Tesla will buy every battery cell from providers that can match the specifications they need. BYD builds their own prismatic form factor lithium iron phosphate or LFP battery called the Blade battery, which is one of the most cost-effective LFP batteries in the world with some powerful properties. Up until just the last few years, Tesla had mainly been using cylindrical batteries such as the 18650 in the Model S and X or the 2170s found in the Model 3 and Model Y for its US-made vehicles. However, Tesla has been growing, along with its suppliers, the percentage of LFP-based batteries that go into its vehicles, particularly in China, where CATL provides Tesla with prismatic LFP cells. While LFP batteries typically have less energy density and therefore less range given the added weight to the vehicle, Tesla's high-efficiency vehicle design and powertrain enables these batteries to be used and still achieve a very acceptable vehicle range that resonates with consumers. However, BYD's Blade battery is said to be even more cost-effective than that of CATL, and has been demonstrated to be one of the safest automotive batteries that has the potential of preventing battery fires. Tesla enthusiasts have only imagined the potential of a vehicle that combines the innovation of both BYD and Tesla, where this hypothetical vehicle would incorporate the battery technology of BYD within a Tesla product. Now, it's been rumored for some time that this type of partnership was in the works, but BYD has even gone so far as denying these rumors in the past. However, recent overlooked reports in the German media from European regulators appear to confirm that BYD is in fact shipping Blade batteries for Model Y units that will be made at Tesla's Giga Berlin factory. These are said to be for 55 kilowatt-hour packs that could provide 440 kilometers of range for the rear-wheel drive Model Y. Tesla doesn't yet sell a rear-wheel drive Model Y in the United States. In Australia, the rear-wheel drive Model Y gets 455 miles of range with a 60 kilowatt-hour pack provided by CATL. While consumers may not realize or even notice the difference in types of packs that are inside their vehicles, the BYD Blade battery could allow Tesla to reduce costs even further and help to jumpstart the Giga Berlin factory during its continued ramp-up. Tesla has already made drastic price cuts globally so far in 2023 to spur demand, but now cutting costs is of the utmost importance in order to combat inflation. Now, with inflation at decade highs, diversifying your portfolio with alternative assets is more important than ever. That's why today's sponsor is Masterworks, a platform that lets you invest in art, a rarely talked about asset class that has proven to be a great hedge against inflation. With studies showing very low correlation to the stock market, contemporary art historically averages a 23% real return when inflation is above 3%, like it is right now. And that's more than 4 times better than traditional hedges like gold and real estate. Now, traditionally, only the super wealthy have been able to invest in multi-million-dollar artwork. That is, until now. Masterworks is a revolutionary tech platform valued at over $1 billion that allows you to purchase shares of multi-million-dollar paintings by world-famous artists like Banksy, Picasso, or Monet. After investing in a work of art, one option is to wait for it to be sold. But what I found interesting is that Masterworks also offers a secondary market where you can trade shares directly with other investors. This really is a brilliant platform that is opening the high-end art market to everyone through trust and transparency. It's no wonder over 627,000 investors have signed up. But as a result of this high demand, there's a long wait list for those who want to invest. However, I've partnered with Masterworks to provide you with a link to let you skip that wait list, which can be found in the description below. And thanks to Masterworks for sponsoring this video. Tesla is looking for ways to fundamentally pull more costs out of its designs, and so they're improving the Gigafactories, and the BYD Blade battery could be yet another factor, especially outside the US, where the Inflation Reduction Act doesn't apply. Now, while Tesla's VP of Investor Relations, Martin Viecha, has stated that for the first time he can remember, Tesla can access all the battery supply they need, it's unclear if that includes BYD as a supplier. But nonetheless, if Tesla intends to increase volume by another 40 to 50% in 2023, not to mention the growing Megapack business, and Elon Musk has even said that the company will rely heavily on the 4680 in 2023, so the ramp-up simply has to happen for new products like the Cybertruck, then there may once again be battery constraints. Tesla needs all the batteries they can get, and they don't seem to be afraid of diversifying with different form factors and various suppliers, even if this means more overhead at this time. Given the scarcity of batteries relative to Tesla's needs, it makes sense for them to do this as early as possible, and it looks like they may be preparing for BYD as a supplier in early 2023. Perhaps later down the line, once they've ramped up internal battery production sufficiently, they can look at reducing complexity by consolidating battery types. But this is also a good strategy for sucking up the resources that would otherwise be used by other competitors, which will keep competitor EV volumes very low. Now, what's a bit strange, however, is that BYD is one of the few vertically integrated auto manufacturers that make their own batteries and their own cars. So why would they sell batteries to Tesla when they're looking at expanding their own vehicle lineups and should be using their own batteries for themselves? This answer isn't clear, but there could be a multitude of reasons. Joining up with Tesla could be very positive for both companies, showing that they're more like partners rather than rivals. BYD gets to power the vehicles made by an influential global brand in a space which could improve their image, and Tesla gets more batteries as well as reduced costs. BYD's company margins are actually quite low, with gross margins at around 15%. Then they need to pay for marketing and research and development, which further reduces this. Keep in mind that BYD reports in yuan. According to Ray for Tesla, he's calculated that while Tesla earned over $5 billion on $35 billion in revenue in the first half of 2022, BYD sold more overall cars than Tesla and just made $21 billion in revenue with an even lower $0.5 billion in profit, which is 10 times less. In the end, their profit margins are closer to just 2% of revenue. The revenue per car sold by BYD is also about half of what Tesla is able to sell a vehicle for. And so if Tesla is offering a bulk order on Blade batteries, in which they're willing to pay a premium over cost, which is normal and would still be good for Tesla given that BYD's batteries cost less than competitors like CATL, then BYD doesn't need to spend marketing dollars on this. As long as they have capacity, they just need to produce and ship batteries to Tesla. So financially it's a good move and will benefit BYD over the long term by continuing to increase their production capacity over time, improving battery energy density as their costs continue to decline with increased volumes and economies of scale. That said, Tesla's recent price cuts at the beginning of 2023 appear to be affecting BYD's reservations and their sales in China. While Tesla can afford to cut prices, since they're starting at 30% gross margins, BYD is in a difficult situation since they're selling cars just 15% above cost, leaving them much less room to reduce costs even further. This potential hit to BYD's demand also suggests that Tesla's vehicles are much higher quality. Now that the prices between the two companies are similar, consumers appear to be opting for Tesla over BYD's vehicles. Now, BYD recently launched the Atto3 SUV into various markets, including Australia, India, and Malaysia. Their vehicle is based on the Yuan Plus car sold in China, but BYD is expanding beyond its home borders. The Atto3 uses BYD's Blade battery with its cell-to-pack technology, which is similar to what Tesla has done by removing redundant modules within the battery packs. BYD is able to increase space usage by 50%. The Atto3 can have a 50 or 60 kilowatt-hour battery pack size, which brings 345 and 420 kilometers of range, respectively, using the WLTP standard. Currently, that's meant to take on other electric vehicles such as the Nissan Leaf and the Hyundai Kona EV, with BYD undercutting them in price while bringing more range with a larger battery pack. This may give us a look at the future trend of where the Blade battery is headed. Hyundai, for example, is typically set on selling cheaper vehicles to the masses, but here we see BYD surprisingly undercutting them significantly in multiple key areas. BYD also sells a Class 8 electric semi-truck called the BYD 8TT in both China and also in the United States, where they hit a milestone of over 100 of these trucks delivered in total back in 2020. This was actually the world's first commercially available all-electric Class 8 day cab tractor, according to BYD, and it competes with vehicles such as the Freightliner e-Cascadia and now the Tesla Semi. The BYD ATT has a 422 kilowatt-hour battery pack, but this gives it a curb weight of 26,235 pounds, but a gross combined weight rating of over 105,000 pounds, so this shouldn't limit the amount of cargo that it can transport. However, the vehicle has a top speed of 74 miles per hour and only 124 miles of range at full load, which increases to 167 miles at half load. This is actually competitive with some of the other entrenched players out there, like the e-Cascadia, which has 230 miles of range at a typical load percentage. But comparatively, Tesla's semi-truck has over 500 miles of range at full load, roughly 530 when they demoed their test drive, and Tesla isn't even using the planned 4680 battery cells yet, which should further reduce weight and increase range. Currently, Tesla appears to be using nickel-based 2170 battery cells, the same as the Model 3 or Model Y, whereas BYD is using the Blade battery in the 8TT. In this case, however, with a large commercial vehicle, the Blade battery may not perform as well given its large mass for low energy density. Even at a lower cost, the performance isn't able to match the needed specifications that the Tesla Semi is able to achieve. Nevertheless, there are few competitors in the space, since they've all been doubtful of an electric semi-truck, and so bringing the first Class A truck to market is a very impressive feat for BYD. Now, this likely partnership between BYD and Tesla, which is still under wraps, could also mend any blemished relationships between the two companies. Back in 2011, this is a time when Tesla already had the Roadster and was just about to bring the Model S to market. Elon Musk was interviewed by Bloomberg and laughed at BYD, not being a true competitor to Tesla.
Why do you laugh? BYD is trying to compete. Why do you laugh?
Have you seen their car?
I have seen their cars, yes. In fact, at the Berkshire Hathaway meeting, I saw their cars.
Yeah.
You don't see them at all as a competitor?
No.
Why is that? I mean, they offer a lower price point.
I don't think they have a great product.
Why is that?
I don't think it's particularly attractive. The technology is not very strong. And BYD as a company has pretty severe problems in their home turf in China.
Right.
So I think their focus is, and rightly should be, on making sure they don't die in China.
Now, to be fair, their car did not look good, especially compared to a Model S, and they financially were not in a good place at the time. Elon Musk essentially gave the company some advice, which was to focus on not dying on their home turf in China. So this was the correct analysis back then, but BYD did actually take steps over the next decade to transform itself as a company. They could very well have gone bankrupt in China. Even before any of this in 2008, however, BYD did receive the backing of billionaire Warren Buffett, who took a $230 million stake in the company. This also put Buffett's recent stock sale into context. Since mid-July of 2022, it's reported that Buffett sold about $600 million worth of BYD's stock. However, at the present time, this doesn't seem to be because Berkshire Hathaway has lost faith in the company or is worried about competition from Tesla. The sale only represents 8% of their holdings, which in total amounts to 207 million shares valued at over $5.7 billion. Clearly, Warren Buffett has had an immense gain on the stock over the last 15 or so years, raking in at least a 35 times increase on his firm's investment. The BYD Blade battery may at first have more success with smaller sized vehicles, but BYD is quickly scaling them into larger ones. The Chinese company can be foreseen moving into many automotive markets around the world and dominating with low prices. However, Tesla's recent price cuts may put pressure on the Atto3, and the release of the Tesla Semi could impact sales of BYD's ATT Class A truck. But for now, BYD's technology appears to be headed inside Tesla's vehicles, where they will help the world's largest EV maker scale production of its lowest cost SUV. So do you think that putting a BYD Blade battery into a Tesla Model Y will be a game changer for cutting costs and scaling even faster at Giga Berlin? And in light of Tesla's recent price cuts, do you see BYD being a formidable competitor to Tesla or more of a partner in the years to come? Don't forget to check out the Masterworks link in the description below. Please hit the like button and subscribe, we would really appreciate that. And a huge shout out to all of our patrons that help to support our channel. Your support helps us to continue to make great content. Thank you guys so much for watching.